Être un bon traiteur, c'est être intransigeant sur la qualité. On ne fait du bon qu'avec le meilleur. C'est être impitoyable sur les recettes. Quand c'est bon, il n'y a rien à ajouter, rien à enlever. C'est être irréprochable sur le goût. Il faut prendre du plaisir pour en donner. Voilà, pour être un bon traiteur, il faut être intraitable.
Parfaitement intraitable.
Hello everybody, welcome to Motorland Aragon and welcome to the third race of the weekend here in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. It's great to be here at this wonderful racing circuit for this weekend in the absolutely blinding sunshine. And here today we have even hotter conditions than we had yesterday. The cars are currently lining up on the grid for this GT Sprint Cup. We have the 7-car field taking shape at present. As you can see there, just lining up on the right-hand side of the grid is the CMR Ferrari 488 Challenge car. Originally was billed to be a pair of 296 Challenge cars, the latest iteration of Ferrari's supercar range, its sort of flagship supercar. But unfortunately, those cars are on other duties elsewhere for both teams this weekend. I believe there is a Ferrari Challenge event going on in the UK as well over this weekend, so it's likely that they'll be shipped over there for that one. But we still have a beautiful pair of 488s on the front row, with Jules Doncieux in the Porsche on the second row, the Porsche Cayman. Wow, I tell you what, it looked like that Volkswagen Polo got round quickly then, didn't it? That was about a 10-second lap as it left the grid and then got back over the crest. That was very impressive. But still, it's quite a long lap here at Motorland Aragon. 18 corners in total, and quite the elevation in the second and third sectors. They come down a long hill down the back straight from turn 15 all the way to 16, and it's one of the most important braking zones on the track. We've seen a lot of action down there so far this weekend. We've seen a lot in the way of big sends down the inside and big overtakes. We saw a lot from Pierre Arau yesterday. He's going to be racing in the Audi R8 GT4 Evo. He's going to be starting this one from 4th on the grid here today. He's going to be alongside Jules Doncieux. We then have Francois Denis hoping to see the Jetta back out on the grid. I'm just looking to see if that car's there. I don't see it yet, actually, unless... I mean, it's quite a small car, is the Jetta G55. Don't quite see it at the moment. It's just to the left of that shot there, actually, but you can see the wonderful Wile E. Coyote livery on Pierre Arau's Audi R8 GT4. It's a very striking livery. And quite literally yesterday he was chasing the roadrunner that was Jules Doncieux. We've got the 3-minute board out at the front. So just a few moments before we get underway here for this first race of the day. Third race of the weekend. We had 2 of them yesterday. Lyle Schofield in the 353 Ferrari taking the win in the first one, and then Patrick McEllier in the other Ferrari taking the second win. There is the 353 of Lyle Schofield. He's sharing that car with Emilio Rocchi, this weekend. Emilio finished at the back of the field in yesterday's race. I don't know if there was an issue with the car, but he had a very slow outlap. I think he just took his time to get acclimatised to the circuit. The grid is now being cleared with just a couple of minutes left to go. They're allowed one member of the team, one member of personnel allowed to stay on the grid with the car until the 1 minute board, just in case the driver needs any assistance with anything. You never know when these cars may throw up a random warning light or something may be getting hot just sitting there on the grid. Obviously they're not running, so there's a lot of that risk is negated. It doesn't look, though, like we have the Ginetta of Francois Denis joining us on this one, unfortunately. He had quite the hit into the barriers at turn 16 yesterday afternoon. We didn't see how he got there. He just seemed to spear off to the right-hand side. He was in a good fight with, I think it was the Audi driver yesterday. It was the teammate of Marine Perdue. It was Oliver Huez he was in a fight with, and just as they got into the braking zone, the car just went hard right. Not sure if something broke on it, but he hit the barrier twice, and it did do a lot of damage to the front right corner. He was perfectly fine. I saw him walking around the car and around the paddock once it was recovered in, but unfortunately the car will not be racing with us in these two today. So the 7-car field has unfortunately been whittled down to just 6. 1 minute board is shown. There is Pierre Arau's engineer just to his left. He'll be making his way off the grid. The interesting sort of scissor door that you can see in the background is that of Chloe Hellery. She's racing this weekend in the Mitjet Super T. It's basically a more powerful version of the Mitjet cars that we have here this weekend. They run on motorbike engines. They're about 500 kilos and around 150 horsepower, but we've got an entire championship of them racing this weekend. In fact, they were on the circuit just before us now, but Chloe is racing in the souped-up version that will be a bit more competitive with these GT3s and GT4 cars. Then again, I correct myself, because the Ferrari 488 Challengers are not GT3 cars. They are about as fast in a straight line as a GT3 car, but they don't have quite as much sophisticated aerodynamics on them. They may have huge splitters, canards and wings and so on, but they are not to the same specification as a GT3. There's Jules Doncieux making his way away from the grid. Marine Perdue in 6th position in the beautiful blue and neon orange Audi on the right hand side of the grid. And then of course Chloe Hellery starting in 6th position at the back of the field in the car that is basically looks like a BMW M4, I believe. It's got the same sort of grille on it. They have a fake set of headlights and brake lights. They are simply just stickers, but a lot of the body shapes are made to look like DTM cars, actually, the likes of Mercedes and BMW and Audi. And the lights and the grille, as you can see there, looks like the later iteration of the BMW M4. Maybe even the later M3 that the DTM cars ran as well. But obviously on a car that isn't the actual machine, it's hard to know which one it's exactly replicating, but I'm sure you'll all agree, regardless of its overall size and shape, it still looks like a BMW. It's a fascinating little car. And again, I implore you to check out Mitjet Racing. It's really good fun. We were just watching the earlier race while waiting in the commentary box, and it's a very, very good laugh. They're not the most powerful machines, so obviously mid-corner capability is oh so important, and so too is slipstream. And here at Aragon, we have a number of great slipstreaming opportunities down towards turn 1, the run here down towards turn 12, and then from 15 to 16 there is a massive back straight, which, as you'll see here from this shot, actually joins up. There is a layout of this track that goes in a straight line just there. You can see it to the right-hand side of the screen. There are versions of the track that are ran completely flat out from turn 10 that we use here, all the way to what is turn 16 on this lap. Gorgeous backdrop there of the huge stone wall at turn 7, as we look at it from around turn 15. But there is the 88 Mitjet Super T of Chloe Hellery. Makes a great noise as well, does that car. It runs on a motorbike engine. It's, I believe, a straight through exhaust as well, straight from the engine, so there's no baffles, there's no boxes or any converters or anything that sort of muffle the sound. I mean, you can hear it now. Sounds absolutely brilliant. Doesn't sound like a bike engine at all. It's a very low revving bike engine, so it doesn't have the usual scream of a 600 or 1000cc engine. Just sounds like a thoroughbred touring car. And again, a whole field of them together is an absolute treat. They make a wonderful, wonderful noise. But now the two Ferraris on the front row, looking resplendent in this sunshine as well, is Patrick Michelier's example in the wonderful Scuderia Rosso red, almost glowing in the sunshine here this afternoon. I say this afternoon, flipping heck, it's not even been that long a day yet. It's only 10:30 in the morning, but with the weather as it is, it can throw you off because it's this sunny and this bright all day here in this wonderful part of Spain. We may be out in the hills, but there's very little shade and no way to escape from the sunshine. And there's no way to escape from the epic performances of Lyle Schofield this season. Is this going to be another one where he takes the win? It's very likely. Green lights are on, and we are away, and the two Ferraris remain head-to-head down towards turn one. Patrick Michellier slots in behind, but Pierre Arau goes a little bit deep again. He's got a habit of doing that at this circuit as Pierre. He always goes a little bit too hot into the corner and then doesn't have the run off of it. And Donciu is trying to go around the outside, but they remain side by side through turn three. Donciu sweeping around the outside there. Perdue didn't look too confident through turn three, and I think that Hallyday's closed in a bit, but now the power advantage of the Audi showing. That Audi had a bit of a knock to the right rear earlier on in the weekend. You can see that the wing end plate's missing. There's quite a bit of tape on the rear corner, and also the rear brake light isn't quite in position. So I think the balance of that car has been knocked off slightly. We saw a couple of spins from the 444 in both races yesterday, caused by that potential damage. The balance of the car completely switched away. Car 73 has already been reported for track limits at turn 5. Welcome back to Aragon, everybody. The whole weekend has been outlined by a multitude of track limits penalties throughout all the races. Claire and I racked our brains yesterday trying to figure out all the penalties that were going on in the European Endurance Prototype Cup, and even earlier in the Hoosier Formula Cup as well. There were plenty of penalties applied there, and yeah, we were trying to do the maths as quickly as possible, and it just overlapped so much. Pierre Arau overlapped the track limits a bit there, going into turn 12. He's overdone it and has lost a lot of time to Jules Donciu. There are two classes in this race. We have the UCTC class, which is the two Ferraris of Lyle Schofield and Patrick Michellier, and then the UCS4 class, which is cars of GT4 specification or slower. And that is Donciu, Arau, Perdue and Hallyday. Unfortunately, no Francois Denis for this race in that lovely Ginetta with its fantastic flat 6 scream. The later version of the G55, that was known as the G56 in the end, had the Chevy LS V8 engine involved rather than the V6. A bigger and heavier engine, but the car was obviously benefiting from the power advantage over what the smaller V6 couldn't provide. There is the gorgeous 444 Audi R8. The R8 GT4, straight off the bat, wasn't as successful a GT4 car as Audi were hoping. The R8s have always gone really well in GT3 racing, particularly in the likes of the Nürburgring and the VLN Endurance Series, even in the major 24-hour and 12-hour events as well. The Audi R8 was always, and still always, a very good GT3 car, although, unfortunately, in the last few years, Audi have stopped doing the customer racing for it. They've stopped their factory teams, I believe, actually. They continue customer racing, so just in case you're in the market for one, you can still buy an Audi R8 GT3, the LMS Ultra as they call it. But no factory team from Audi in the coming years, which is a big shame. Lyle Schofield, absolutely flying at the front here. He loves driving this car. He was very chilled out yesterday when Claire spoke to him after the race, and it was another win on his list for the season. Although he's not had the most difficult of seasons. He did have a non-finish. I think actually, no, he missed a round of the championship earlier in the season. Just trying to find the exact result for that one. And looking at it, yeah, he wasn't at Portimao last time out, was Lyle Schofield, so no points scored there. But Alexis Berthet, his nearest rival in the championship, was not there either, so he's been able to get away with that, and now he's back here for Aragon. He can score some big points this time round. The Ultimate Cup moves over to Manicourt and Le Castellet to complete the season. The wonderful Manicourt Grand Prix circuit used to be such a staple on the Formula One calendar before the cars became as big as canal boats. And then obviously Le Castellet. Paul Ricard, an amazing circuit. The world's most beautiful car park, as one of my friends calls it. But it's a hell of a circuit for racing. But so too has been Motorland Aragon. We've still got another race from this championship coming up later on in the day. At present, looking at our planning that we have for the weekend, our live stream for said race is due to get started at about 6 p.m. local time. And we certainly look forward to that, because it's always a pleasure to get these cars out on the circuit. We get an interesting mix of GT machines in this championship. There you can see, look, Jules Doncieux really pushing this car, giving it everything he's got through turns 8 and 9, and he's sort of keeping up with the Ferrari challenge car as well, which on paper is a much quicker machine. It's got a lot more power, it's got a lot more downforce, and the braking on those challenge cars is one of their best characteristics. But then again, the Porsche Cayman GT4 car has always been the best in its category on the brakes. It's the smallest GT4 car money can buy, and always has been. I mean, we watched it racing against Pierre Arau's Audi R8 yesterday, and it is about 2/3 of the width of the R8, and it's not even the same length. It's a small little car, this Porsche, but it's a beautiful machine as well. Sounds great too. Another 6-cylinder engine out there on the circuit. But you can see from that shot there the immense heat over the circuit here this afternoon. It is boiling hot here at Aragon. And again, I say this afternoon when it's only 10:30 in the morning. Currently, though, it is apparently 24 degrees outside, but that is a complete and utter lie. The highs today are going to be 34 degrees Celsius. So it's going to continue getting hotter and hotter. So as the races go on into the afternoon, we have the GT Endurance race later on as well. Then the drivers have to think more and more about the tyres and how they are lasting in these conditions. But it is a baking hot day on all accounts. You can hear the Midjet singing away in the background. You can still hear it ringing around the circuit. I'm not sure how loud you guys are hearing the cars, but through my headset I can hear the Midjet from a long old way away as Chloe Hellery makes it up through turn 5. That was the Ferrari exiting the left-hander there at turn 9. Pierre Arau now on our screen. And this lovely looking Audi R8. Really do enjoy the livery on this car. It's a hell of a toy to go racing on the weekends. And he's now onto the brakes into turn 12. You can hear that fantastic V10 singing as he goes down the gears. And then the other one as well, almost in stereo there actually, Marine Pidou in car 444, running in 5th place of the 6 at the moment. And now we'll hear the V10 again sing by down the back straight. And then hard onto the brakes into turn 16 they go. Still, it's Doncieux in 3rd position, ahead of Pierre Arau. Next up, of course, the Audi of Myrine Pidou. We've had track limits reported at T5 for car 88. Currently running in last place, so Chloe Hellery certainly pushing the Midjet Super T to its limits and to the track limits as well. Personal bests coming in from a lot of the drivers in the lower half of the order. Donsu, Arau, Pidou and Hellery all doing personal bests actually on their previous laps. Just going to see if Hellery has once again improved. She's about to cross the line just now. 2:16.0 is her best time. Yes, she's done a 2:15.9, so getting quicker and quicker all the time. Lyle Schofield, now he's extended that lead at the front after doing a 2:07 earlier. He's dialing it back a bit now to look after the car. He's done a 2:08.4, so he's about a second off his ultimate pace. But he's still pushing the Ferrari to its limit. And he continues to push on and lead this race. Very impressive stuff. Once again from Lyle Schofield. Leads the championship at the moment and looks to set himself up for the victory with a number of the other drivers that race him not here this weekend. The nearest rival that he has out there at the moment is Patrick Michellier, and he is 8th in the championship. Patrick missed the first race of the season at Paul Ricard, but has been with us since. He was at Mugello and he was at Portimao as well. So we now wait to see how he gets on with the later races as well, and whether Michellier can surpass some of the other drivers in the field ahead of him and grab that second place in the standings. Down the back straight comes Pidou. Really long back straight, as you can see, even in something as fast as a GT4 car, it still takes a while. And there is the Midjet of Chloe Hellery, the quote-unquote BMW, making its way into turn 16 now. Sounds fantastic as it makes its way out of turn 16 to 17 and 18. Still 13.5 minutes of the race to go. And it is Lyle Schofield leading the way. Patrick Michellier second place, 9 seconds back. But at the moment, it's Pierre Arau that is catching up to the car ahead. He was 1.2 seconds quicker than Jules Donsieu on that previous lap. Jules did a fantastic job of holding on ahead of Pierre yesterday. A lovely defensive drive. I did get the opportunity to ask him how to pronounce his name as well and make sure. And he said he's heard about 7 different versions of the word Jules. He's had Jules, he's had Jules, he's had Jules, he's had all of it. He said he used to work in Germany as well, so he heard many more iterations without the French accent to help them along. But Donsieu, currently running 3rd, on for another podium. It's a case of whether he can hold that from the very racy Audi R8 behind him. Pierre Arau certainly was the driver to keep an eye on yesterday, but there again, Chloe Hellery pushing out of turn 9, using all of the road around turn 10 and then kicking back to the left to get a bit of a slingshot through that next part of the corner. Listen to it on the limiter. Lovely noise as it goes over the overrun, really cutting the corner at turn 12 there. I'm not sure if she'll get away with that with the track limits. She had a warning flag for track limits at turn 5. So too is Lyle Schofield. Oh, she's gone a little bit hot there into turn 14. Recovers it nicely for 15. And you can see she's wrangling this car around. She's doing a great job of it. Throwing this machine about. They really are quite loose cars, these things. They don't weigh very much at all. They've got huge wheels on them. They are an interesting proportion, to say the least. And now Pierre Arau is ahead of Jules Donsieu. The Audi has gotten in front of the Porsche, and Pierre has finally got the move done, because yesterday it took him a good few attempts to get in front of the Porsche. And now, as you see, he's got it done. hard onto the brakes into turn 5. The wheels absolutely swallowed up by the wheel arches at the front of this car. It's very low to the ground. Same here with Lyle Schofield's Ferrari. There he is around turn 9 and 10. Getting his foot down. Down towards turn 12. Let's listen as it goes on the overrun. Just one downshift there. Sounds like a very grumpy Ferrari. It's quite a low revving machine. But with the addition of turbochargers, obviously the cars don't need to rev as high as they used to. I remember being at an event a few years ago, stood with a couple of gentlemen from the Ferrari Owners Club. One had a Ferrari F8 Tributo, the other had an SF90, two incredible and beautiful Ferraris, and everybody stopped and stared as a Ferrari 458 rolled in, which is a car from many moons ago. I think 2008 was the latest Ferrari 458 Italia. And I asked them why, you know, why is everyone so amazed by this car? And they said that regardless of how good your Ferrari is, the one everybody wanted at the time was the 458, because it was the last one with the high revving, naturally aspirated V8 in it. And the more it goes on, the more that I in particular have come to appreciate the 458 Italia. I didn't fully like it when it first arrived, but the 488 I always think is more beautiful, which is the car we see here. Stunning looking car. Not too different, but just a bit more refined. But the 458 in terms of engine and in terms of performance is the one that everyone wants. Currently it's the two 488s at the front of the field though. Schofield ahead of Michelier. Pierre Arau next, and then fourth place Donciu. Arau going faster and faster all the time here. He was about 1.7 seconds quicker than Jules Donciu on that previous lap, doing his personal best first sector as well. So he's gotten past the Porsche and started to disappear up the road. Michelier using all of the circuit there. And again, we get more chance to observe and listen to this gorgeous Ferrari. Such a well-packaged car at the rear, this machine. Everything fits together so well. Patrick with headlights ablaze is really pushing it into turn 12. You can hear him hesitant on the throttle over the crest of the hill. He's really giving it everything. Here's Patrick Michelier. Great to watch. You can see a lot more body language from this car from Lyle Schofield. You can see him going up through the gears. You see his head jolting back and forth in the cockpit. Very aggressive gear changes in the 488 Challenge. And as he goes hard onto the brakes now, it's turn 16, the nose dives down. Nice and tidy through the hairpin and then back around to 17. And as he crossed the line last time, he was only 0.6 of a second off his best lap of the race. He didn't have a personal best in any of the sectors, but it was just a consistently tidy lap from Michelier. So far this season, we've had 30 different drivers enter in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. In all manner of cars as well. We've had some Porsche Cup cars. We've had some effective GT2 cars out there as well, with the likes of the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo. We've had also the TFT Racing Mercedes AMG GT3, which made its debut with us at Paul Ricard at the start of the year. There's been all sorts of brilliant machines here as well. Some driven GT4 Porsches, driven event racing Porsches. I remember seeing Benjamin Mardine in the Mardine Benjamin, I apologise, in the Ferrari F430 challenge car back at Mugello, and it was a car that competed in the Mondial as well, and it was a lovely looking race car. And on top of that as well, Jeremy Moreira was with us in previous races in the number 8 machine. He was exciting to watch too. There was another Ferrari, and I was trying to remember who it was. Gregoire Benadet, that was who it was. He didn't only have the 430 challenge as his teammate with Mardine Benjamin, but he was also in the FIA GT spec Ferrari F430 that used to race in the FIA GT Championship just before the GT3 classification came in. And it's a gorgeous race car. It's been a long time since I'd seen one of those. I remember seeing them in competition in the British GT Championship in, I think it was 2008 now, maybe 2007, where they first arrived on the scene. It's a shame not to see too many of those cars about now, the F430s. But now, Lyle Schofield, well, he set a purple middle sector on that last lap, but he's dialed it back again. He's doing 207s. His best lap of the race was a 207.2. To be fair to Patrick McAllier, he's turned the pace up now, and he's getting away from the likes of Aragon and Dancieux. I think Jules has had a little problem later on in this race. I think maybe the tyres have gone off, or the car just isn't quite giving him the confidence to push as hard as he was earlier on. But he's definitely dropped off the pace that he was setting earlier. His best lap of the race is a 2:10. He's doing 2:12s. There's, oh dearie me, Chloe Hellery with a 5-second penalty added to her race time for the 3rd infringement of the track limits down at turn 9. That's a big shame to see. Chloe won't lose a position as a result of that though, but even still, fantastic efforts this weekend in the Jet car have been hugely appreciated. But the race time is just going to be extended that little bit longer for her in this one. You can see now Jules Dancieux really pushing on actually in that Porsche. He was throwing it through turns 13 and 14. It was all over the road. Pierre Arau sitting the car in the middle of the road down the back straight, which is interesting. Naturally, as you come out of turn 15, we'll see it here from Pidoux. You stay over on the right-hand side, and you want to widen the final hairpin as much as possible, so just so happens that you stay over to the right anyway, but for some reason Pierre Arau finds himself in the middle of the road on the way down there. Not sure what the tactic is there or the thought process, but either way, he's still lapping faster than the cars behind, although, yeah, I said Jules Dancieux was looking faster in that final sector, and he's actually done his personal best. And he's improved his personal best by a couple of tenths of a second as well. Chloe Hellery still on the move too, setting a personal best sector 1. So the times are still coming down here, interestingly, as the circuit gets hotter and hotter with more and more cars on it. And the sun continuing to get higher and higher here in the wonderful east of Spain. Pidoux also setting a personal best on that last lap as well. But it's still Schofield from Michellier and Arau. And there once again, Chloe Hellery across the line. Looks like one of the pans or something on the bottom of the car, or like a sump guard or something, has sort of slithered down slightly. Not sure how far forward. Yeah, it's in the engine compartment of the car. Something has sort of lowered itself down gradually to the ground. There are some components on the Ferraris as well. I believe some of the exhausts further back and quite low to the ground, and we see them from the front, but when Chloe's at speed here, that sump guard or little piece of, might even be a slightly aerodynamic piece underneath, has certainly come down. Ran a little bit wide there of turn 5 as well. There's been a warning flag go out for Patrick Michellier and his track limits abuse as well. We had some wonderful wording yesterday in the European Endurance Prototype Cup from the stewards, who were saying that there was constant abuse of track limits by some drivers. But Lyle Schofield about to start the final lap now. Has started the final lap, actually. Around the first corner he goes. And he has an 8-second lead at the minute. He's really dialed it back again. He's looking after the car in this later stage. Patrick McEllier still 8 seconds behind. He's just done the fastest third sector of the race, actually, as McEllier. So he's pushing on. Pierre Arau holds on to third place at the moment, wanting that podium. We didn't get him on the podium yesterday afternoon because his attack on Jules Doncieux in the race just didn't quite come to fruition, unfortunately. But right now it looks like Lyle Schofield has said in this final lap he's just going to push. And he's just going to go for it. Because why not? Not long left to go now for Lyle Loeb to take the next victory. He just makes his way through turns 14 and 15 for the final time. And across the line he will go shortly, heading down to turn 16. You can see the gap now closing back to Patrick McEllier. The red Ferrari in the background certainly looking racy in these later stages, but Lyle is just looking after the car. He's taking it a bit more easy now. He's 2 seconds off in the first sector. He's a second off in the second sector. But that doesn't matter because he's about to take another race victory for his championship campaign. Second race of the weekend for Lyle Schofield in the Ferrari 488 Challenge. He finishes eventually 6 seconds ahead of Patrick McEllier, who puts in a solid effort for second place. Just wasn't able to stay with Lyle in the opening stages, and he opened up that gap. Pierre Arau is just about to come around the final corner, and he's going to take third place overall in his first podium of the weekend, I believe. He'll be pleased with that one. That went much better than yesterday. We saw multiple attacks from him on Doncieux yesterday afternoon, and Jules was able to cover them all off, but unfortunately on this occasion he loses out to the V10 powered Audi R8. The 444 car is about to head round the final corner as well. Marine Pidou making it through that race without the spins and issues that we saw in yesterday's races. That'll be her last action on track this weekend, as Olivier Huez will take over for race number 4 this evening in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. Still one car to go, and it is one of my favourite cars in the field, the wonderful Mitjet Super T of Chloe Hellery. Just about to round the final corner now. Chloe is continually, again, much like she did yesterday, improved and improved on her lap times. And there she is across the line to complete the field. A personal best by Doncieux at the end of that race, actually, 209.9 to put in his fastest lap of the race. And unfortunately, no Francois Denis in this one today after his accident in the Ginetta yesterday afternoon. Lyle Schofield, one hand out the window. I'm sure giving a quick wave to the marshals here and there. And he is indeed. Love to see that from drivers. Marshals, at the end of the day, without them we wouldn't be able to go racing. And they all man their posts day in, day out at these events and do a great job. Lyle just showing a little bit of appreciation there and holding his hand out of the window to acknowledge them. It's great to see, very professional of Lyle. And, I mean, we know he's of the utmost professionalism. So we're excited to see how his championship continues. He won't be out later on, unfortunately, will Lyle? He'll hand the car over to his teammate Emilio Rocchi, who will start from the back of the grid as well because he didn't qualify the car. So he will start from the back row. But there is Lyle heading down into the pit lane now. The hazard lights flash on the Ferrari 488 when they engage the pit limiter. just to signify to everyone else that it is on and that he will remain at pit lane speed. Next to him, Patrick McEllier. The two 488 Challenge cars side by side in the pit lane. And next in third place should be Pierre Arau. He'll be really pleased with that result. Lyle taking another victory in this championship. Great performances from him. He really knows how to push that Ferrari around. And he's the class of the field in the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. Don't forget, they will be back out on track a little bit later on. We will come back to this series at 6:05 local time. That's when our next broadcast will begin. And there is your result. Schofield from Michellier and Arau ahead of Donciu, Pidou and Hallyday. No Francois Denis in this race this morning, unfortunately. But no damage, no issues to worry about. Our field will be back out later on. We're going to say goodbye for now, as we will leave the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup until later. But make sure you tune in at 6 PM local time, and we'll see you then.
C'est bon? I'm with Lyle Schofield, another race, another victory, and it always seems to be so easy for you.
Yeah, it was a pretty smooth cruising. Just had a little issue with the gearbox, so we'll see that what's something with there. Might not be doing a race 4, so let's see.
So did you save the tires and the mechanical aspect of the car for the last race, or did you push until the end of the race?
I was saving the gearbox because it was starting to hit, so there's an issue coming up, so let's see what happens.
When will we see you again at the wheel of this car?
Maybe at the next round at the Manicourt, so let's see.
Thank you very much. Lyle Schofield, winner of this race. Can we find another driver? Where is Patrick Michelier? Patrick Michelier, où est-il? Il est là, Patrick Michelier. Alors, est-ce qu'on a... Venez avec... on se met là, allez. Patrick Michelier, une superbe deuxième place. On a senti beaucoup de régularité dans cette course.
Moi, je suis un métronome, moi. Je suis un métronome, moi. Il faut être toujours tic-tac. Mais ça va pas assez vite, par contre.
Alors justement, qu'est-ce qui manque pour aller chercher un meilleur résultat encore, pour aller chercher plus de vitesse?
40 ans de moins. Déjà 40 ans de moins. Et puis, bon, je ne connaissais pas le circuit. C'est la première fois que je roule ici. Alors, ça fait une bonne expérience. C'est sympa. C'est vraiment sympa.
Patrick Michelier, who's a very constant driver throughout the race, but to be faster, he thinks he would need 40 years less. I think he's still young, though. Merci beaucoup, Patrick Michelier. Thank you very much. Alors, est-ce qu'on a le temps pour une troisième interview? Ou pas? On ne sait pas? Non. Bon, on a déjà coupé? Merci. Non.